Beast short films explore the prejudice East Asians face on British screens.
The representation of East Asians on screen tends to be stereotypical or involve racist tropes.
Often when you see East Asian characters on screen, they are there to be a racial signifier to reinforce their otherness.
Beast short films use verbatim dialogue,
Taken from interviews with British East Asians working in cinema and television,
to look at the experiences and challenges they face.
Each film restages classic British film or television dramas,
but with East Asian actors in the leading roles,
in order to highlight the invisibility of our representation on screen. In I go. Independent producer has worked making children's documentaries but has never written for drama or done any fiction whatsoever. Has a notebook out and she says, right, this is the idea. The commissioning editor loves it and would like to talk to you about it. I said, great. She said it was for a children's sitcom and is about a Chinese family running a takeaway. Okay, great. Yes, that's it. I said, sorry, excuse me, what? And she said, yes, that's the idea they love. I said, I'm sorry, but you said it was for a sitcom. That's right. I said, okay. What's the comedic principle? What do you mean? I said, where's the comedy? And she said, well, it's a Chinese family running a takeaway. And I knew immediately what she meant. You know what I'm talking about, Jasper? I mean, we're talking about racist granny.
Yes.
But also about egg foo young, number 20, all the kind of stereotypic tropes of a family running a Chinese takeaway, which are inherently funny if it was racist and stereotypical, right? Because we haven't seen that on TV yet. So I just looked at her and I said, well, I'm sorry, but that's not really how it works. And she said, what do you mean? And because I wanted to be amenable, and as you say, you need to work, I basically gave her a screenwriting 101 class and said, that's the setting, that's the situation of the comedy, like Friends is based around a group of friends in a flat. But the actual comedy itself has got to come out of characters. I mean, it could be something that's realistic and naturalistic, but you have to have something. Maybe the characters are very funny like Friends, and it's all down to the interaction, and for them it's about finding love. That happens with the situation, but the hilarious thing is a USP, like she's actually an alien, and she's come down, that kind of thing. That meeting's 2 hours. And at that point, she's written all my ideas down, taken it. Yes, that's great. And at one point, she said, now, what would you do? And I said, I'm sorry, but this was just meant to be a get-to-know meeting. And
yes, this happens all the time.
Wait. This is only the beginning. There's a middle and an end here, Jasper. So I said, fine. And she goes, great, that's brilliant. And then I actually said, if Sarah, that's who the commissioning editor was, I said, out of interest, by the way, how did you get my name? And she said, oh, Julie, who's my exec on the primetime series I worked on, knew me because of my work there. And also, she's a Sinophile, loves all things Chinese. So between the three of them, they've come up with this idea, this hilarious sitcom about a Chinese family running a takeaway. And so I said, okay, that's great, fine. And then I mentioned you, Jasper. I said, I know a few other people, Chinese writers, who would be fantastic in a room. And if you want to develop this into something great, we could all sit in a room together, have maybe a day, get some development money from them, and we'll come up with something amazing. Fine, thank you very much. Next thing I know, I get a phone call from her. And she says, right, I've written a rough outline, and I was wondering if you could rewrite it for me, and then I'm going to put it into Sarah, and she'll decide on that whether we go to pilot. Fine. I said, fine. Do you want to talk to my agent, and we'll just come up with a fee for that? Oh, no, there's no money here right now. And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't write for free. You know, exposure kills. So I'm not going to do it. You can send it to me by all means, and I can have a look at it. But I'm not going to do any work on it because I only write for money. And she was like, oh, right, okay. So she sends me this garbled bit of nonsense, which is all basically abridged notes of what I've given her in 2 hours of our meeting, with things like Chinese granny pretends not to speak English, father wants daughter to be a doctor, but she wants to become a reality TV star. I mean, it was appalling. And I said, yes, good luck with that. Off she went. Next thing I know, I get a phone call from her. And she was like, oh, good news. We've been commissioned to pilot. Obviously, my jaw hit the ground. And I went, oh, okay. This is amazing. All right. And then she said, yes, so we're now putting together a list of writers. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, Sarah wants somebody who's like a very seasoned, experienced comedy writer. Would you be able to put anyone forward? And I said, I'm sorry, but I'm totally misunderstanding this conversation. But I thought you got in touch with me so that I would become the writer for you. Oh no, I'm sorry, you're not experienced enough. And I said, well, hang on a second. I've written 6 series of a sitcom. I've got a huge amount of experience in terms of just general writing. And I said, you're not going to find a more experienced Chinese screenwriter. And she said, oh no, they don't have to be Chinese.
Oh, God.
At that point, I said, fuck you, and hung up. Now, unsurprisingly, I've not seen anything about it. I don't think it's got very far.
I think actually there's been casting recently. I don't know if that's...
It can't be. It cannot be.
Maybe it's not.
What's up with the Wongs? I think it was called.
Yes. What's up with the Wongs?
You are joking.
No, they're at casting stage because I think I had to audition for Frankie Wong.
You're joking. Have you seen the script?
I haven't, just the sides for that first pilot.
You know what will have happened? They will have given it to some male white writer who Sarah likes.
It's outrageous.
It's disgusting.
It's outrageous.
I mean, I just can't. I mean, it will be horrific. And it is for children. So all it would do is exacerbate for young white kids around the country who don't have Chinese friends. And
It will just confirm all those racist stereotypes.
the only hope I had was that it would just die and fail. Well, there you go. So when you say why there is no East Asian, there is East Asian representation, which is why I'm saying that you, Jesper, will have more opportunity, because it's completely okay for white male writers generally to write any old stuff, because even though it has no bearing on their cultural reference. So I can't get that work, right? But there will be more screen representation, because this embodiment of what will no doubt be a car crush of cliches will afford a lot of East Asian actors some work, but it will probably go the way of Oriental world.
That's very upsetting.